My name is Beate Böhlendorf Arslan. I'm a Byzantine archaeologist from Germany. I studied prehistory, Christian archaeology and Byzantine art history and Near Eastern archaeology in Heidelberg, Istanbul and Tübingen. I was awarded my master degrees from the University of Tübingen in Germany with a thesis about Byzantine settlements of Beşiktepe in Troas in Turkey. After a short break, working in the State Museum and State Office of Archaeology in Saxony, I wrote my PhD thesis at Heidelberg University about glazed Byzantine pottery and pottery in Byzantine tradition in Turkish Thrace and Western Anatolia. For my doctoral thesis, I conducted over 40 excavations and museums in Turkey. After receiving my PhD, I worked for 9 years in the Onsekismart University in Çanakkale, first as a lecturer, then as an assistant professor. In between, I had 2 children, and by the time my oldest was ready to go to school, we decided to return to Germany, also because I had a job offer for a research associate at Freiburg University. Afterward, I worked at the Johannes Gutenberg University in Mainz and at the Leibniz Research Institute for Archaeology, the Roman Germanic Central Museum in Mainz. Since 2017, I'm a full professor and head of the Department of Christian Archaeology and Byzantine Art History in the Philipps University at Marburg in Germany. In Marburg, students can study Christian and Byzantine archaeology and art history in a BA, MA and PhD program. Therefore, I'm heavily involved in teaching. I'm very happy that with the ANAMED fellowship, I now have time for research and writing. From the broad field of archaeology, I'm particularly interested in everyday life of people in late antiquity in Byzantium. I want to understand how people lived, how they spent their days, in which building they stayed, and how they organized their daily lives. On a smaller scale, I'm interested in everyday topics, settlement and landscape development, material cultures, for instance, small finds, tools, pottery, glass and sculptures. During my scientific career, I've worked on various excavations in Germany and Turkey, too many to list one by one. Nevertheless, I would like to mention some locations that result in scientific papers written by me. First, Troy and Beşiktepe in the utmost southwestern region of Anatolia, and also Marmara Erelisi, Anatolia Perinthos and Thrace, and Miletus and Amorim in central Anatolia. I've organized and carried out of several conferences in Çanakkale, Istanbul, Mainz and Marburg, including the Small Finds Conference together with the Istanbul Archaeological Museum, the German Archaeological Institute in Istanbul and ANAMED. The last conference I co-organized was the 13th International ANAMED Annual Symposium on glazed wares as cultural agents in the Byzantine, Seljuk and Ottoman empires. New evidence from technological and archaeological research in December 2018, together with Nikos Kontigiannis and Phyllis Yinishvili-Oğlu. Other than my PhD thesis, I've written 3 other books on Byzantine pottery, Assos, and my 2019 publication on the daily life of the Middle Byzantine village in Boğazköy. Other than my PhD thesis, I've written 3 other books on Byzantine pottery, Assos, and my 2019 publication on the daily life of the Middle Byzantine village in Boğazköy. Furthermore, I edit and co-edit 5 books. The last of these was the collected volume on the changes in cityscape and urban life in late antiquity and early Byzantine periods. Assos in the Mirror of Urban City Centers of Western Asia Minor, published in 2021. In addition, I have published more than 90 articles in scientific journals and volumes. At the moment, I'm running 2 projects. Firstly, a landscape project about the results of a survey aiming at the development of the late antique and Byzantine settlements in the southern Troad. Secondly, I'm researching the late antique and Byzantine city of Assos. The ancient city of Assos is located in the southwest of the Anatolian Peninsula. The ancient city extends on the southern slope of a trachyte rock and is still surrounded by a classical Hellenistical city wall. On top of this hill lies the Acropolis with its famous Doric Athena temple and the remains of a Byzantine castron. Since 2005, the excavation has been administered by Arslan from Çanakkale University, and I have been worked on the excavation since 2007. With the ANAMED Fellowship, I will focus on one of our excavation projects from the Assos, the church in the western necropolis, one of the early pilgrimage sites of the Troad region with its saint's tomb. The church is located northwest of the ancient city, on a hill that appears on the Turkish cadastral map under the name Ayasma Tepe, after which we named the church. The core building of the church was excavated before our time in 2002 and 2003. No documentation from these excavations exists today, so we do not have any photos or drawings or descriptions of the excavation. Therefore, we decided to carry out a cleaning and a new architectural documentation from the building and new excavations of the adjacent areas. This work took place from 2007 to 2012. We discovered surprising results. The church was built in the 6th century as a three-nave basilica with an attached baptistery. In the northern aisle, a tomb was integrated. This tomb was used for the production of secondary relics by passing liquids through a channel into the grave. From these, we can conclude that it must be the grave of an unknown holy person. With the end of the early Byzantine city, within the ancient fortification walls around the end of the 7th century, the church was also abandoned. Sometimes, from the 9th century onwards, deceased children were buried in the area of the former baptistery. In the 11th and 12th century, the church was extensively rebuilt. Liturgical facilities were installed inside the church. To the west, south, and east, several rooms and chapels with different functions were added. The church was used with these installations as a liturgical church and as a cemetery church until the 12th century. During the fellowship in ANAMED, I wanted to write a publication on this church. The expected publication will give an important contribution to the creation of an early Christian pilgrimage site and the transformation into a Middle Byzantine cemetery church. In addition, the research provides insight into the burial traditions and commemoration of the Eastern Mediterranean before coming to Turks. Therefore, I'm very much looking forward to spend my sabbatical at ANAMED in Istanbul.